Hi, I'm Sarah from Jimmy Bean's Wool, and today we're going to go over everything you need to know for block 19 of the Cascade Yarns Knitterati Diagonal Afghan. Alright, so block 19 of the Diagonal Afghan is really gorgeous. It is this beautiful cable that is actually two cables crossing over each other up and down the center of the block. And then we've got an easier knit and purl section on either side that almost looks like a mistake rib or a broken rib, but it's not quite, and it creates this really lovely texture on either side of this blanket. So let me bring this up and we can get a closer look at that. You can see this is made with knits and purls and slip stitches. And so if you need a refresher on how to do those, go ahead and click the link in the upper right hand corner of your screen right now. That'll take you to our basic techniques video so that you can make sure that you're doing all those basic techniques pretty easily and you've got a good handle on them. But the main focus of this video today is going to be these cables in the center. So up and down like the very center of this block, we've got a 2/2 left cable that we're going to show you how to do. You should be pretty familiar with this one by now, but we'll do a quick refresher on that. And then we'll dive into these 6-stitch cables that we've got one right after the other. So this is a 2/2 right cross and a 2/2 left cross. So you're working with 6 stitches, but 2 of those stitches will be kind of hiding in the back here as purl stitches to create that texture and lift the cable up from the background of this reverse stockinette. So it looks a little bit intimidating at first. You will need 2 cable needles, but I promise you that we can do that super easily and you will definitely get the hang of it. So let's go ahead and move our sample out of the way and grab our swatch so that I can show you just exactly what we are doing. Okay, I'm going to work into my swatch just a few stitches so that we can see this a little easier. Okay, so the first technique I'm going to show you is that 2/2 LC or left cable. You'll need your cable needle. Make sure I'm in the frame. And you're going to slip 2 stitches purlwise to your cable needle and hold it to the front of your work. Then you're going to knit 2 stitches from your main needle and then return to your cable needle and knit 2 stitches from your cable needle. And set that aside. And that's that. So you're going to be repeating that small cable over and over to create that narrow twist up the center of this block. The next cable technique that you'll need to know is the 2/2 RC cable or right center cable. So just as a refresher, you're going to have 2 stitches that lean to the right, 2 purl stitches in the middle, and then 2 stitches behind those that lean to the left. So let's take a look at how to do that. I'm going to just knit a couple of stitches past this cable so that we have the room to work. And to get started, you're going to grab your cable needle and you're going to slip 4 stitches to your cable needle. And you want to hold this to the back. Then, taking care not to drop any stitches or create any accidental yarn overs, you're going to knit 2 stitches off of your main needle. Then, the tricky part of this one is you're going to be slipping stitches from the cable needle back onto your working needle. So in the pattern, the last 2 stitches, let me move my yarn out of the way. The last 2 stitches on your cable needle are going to have been purls. So these are your 2 purl stitches and they're referred to that way in the pattern. So make sure that you know what it's talking about. You're going to take those 2 purl stitches and slide them back onto your left hand needle, taking care not to twist them. But you're going to leave these stitches right where they were. Then you'll bring your working yarn to the front and you're going to purl those 2 stitches that you just put back on the needles. So purl 1 and purl 2. And it's okay if your cable needle flies around a little bit, as long as you don't drop any stitches, everything will be fine. Okay, so we've moved 4 stitches around and we have 2 stitches left on our cable needle. You're going to return to the cable needle and you are going to knit those 2 stitches. And remove the cable needle. So what you've just done is made this big stretch. It'll look a little wonky at first because you've stretched that swatch around so much and you've just swapped exactly the position of 6 stitches, but you are going to have in the very front a lean dramatically to the right. And if you look closely at your stitches, you'll have those 2 knit stitches you just created, 2 purl stitches, and 2 more knit stitches in the very back. Okay, so the last cable that you need to know for block 19 is the 2 over 2 over 2 left cross cable. So again, just like with the 2 over 2 over 2 RC cable, you're going to be swapping 6 stitches around in different directions. For this one, you will need 2 cable needles, so go ahead and grab that, or in a pinch, if you only have 1 cable needle, you can also use a shorter double-pointed needle, and that should work out just fine for you. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing you're going to do for the 2 over 2 over 2 LC cable is grab your first cable needle and slip 2 stitches purlwise and hold it to the front. Then you're going to grab your second cable needle and slip the next 2 stitches purlwise and hold it to the back. So it looks a little crazy to get started, and let me just show you up close exactly how this is gonna look. So this is your right hand needle, then you've got your first cable needle in the front here, your second cable needle in the back, and then in the middle of all of that is your left hand working needle. And this is where you're gonna begin. So the first thing you're gonna do is knit 2 stitches off of your main needle. So knit 1, knit 2. Then, taking care not to drop any stitches, you are going to, just like I just did, you are then going to purl 2 stitches from the cable needle in the back. So your yarn management can be a little wonky, but make sure you are purling, you've got your yarn in front and you are purling the 2 stitches off of your back cable needle. So purl 1, try not to lose any more stitches, there we go, and purl 2. Okay, let's get that out of the way here. Then finally, the last thing you're going to do is come back to your cable needle that's in the front, and you're going to knit 2 stitches off of that cable needle. And let's get that one out of the way too. I'm going to finish up my swatch here so that I don't drop any more stitches on camera and show you exactly what we've done here. So you can see we've just created the crux of those cables that will go around the center cable. So we've got our 2 over 2 over 2 RC cable here and our 2 over 2 over 2 LC cable here. If we look very closely, and you might not be able to see it right away unless, let's see if we can get the camera to focus. There we go. So in the very center, we've got our knit stitches, and then jammed in between all of our knit stitches are purl stitches. So that's going to be your reverse stockinette that makes up the background of this block. And then of course around that in the center we'll have our teeny tiny 2 over 2 LC twist going up. That was everything you need to know to do block 19 for the Knitterati diagonal Afghan. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments below, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Thanks for watching.
Thank you so much for checking out this video. If you liked it, please give us a thumbs up and consider subscribing because we have a lot more yarn reviews, tutorials, and other fiber fun like that. Happy crafting!